Hello everyone and welcome back to Creation Myths. Today we are talking politics again because as of this airing, we are less than 2 weeks away from the 2024 presidential election in the United States. That means if you have not made a decision, it is time to get off the fence and make a decision because voting is your civic duty. And I am here today to tell you that Kamala Harris is good actually, and you should vote for her. In my previous video, I talked about how in addition to all his terrible policies, Trump is losing it. He's just not up for doing the job as president anymore. Today, I want to address something I've seen people request since the switch. People have been saying, okay, Trump is bad, make the case for Harris without mentioning Trump. Okay, fair enough. Challenge accepted. So without mentioning that Trump is a convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, and a fraud, that he will ban abortions, fertility care, and contraception nationally, that he will criminalize his political opponents, end overtime, take away protections for pre-existing conditions in healthcare, end Medicare and Social Security as we know them, while giving more tax cuts to millionaires and billionaires, that he will institute across-the-board tariffs, which are taxes paid by consumers, that's you and me, that will make everything more expensive, that he will conduct mass deportations of illegal and legal immigrants. The word you're looking for there is ethnic cleansing. And he will accelerate climate change by undoing the progress that we've made since the Inflation Reduction Act passed. Without mentioning any of those things, I'm going to make the positive case for Kamala Harris for president. So here we go. First, Kamala Harris will protect the right to abortion, fertility care, and contraception. This one is really easy. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. There is no federal protection for the right to an abortion currently. Since Roe has been overturned, infant and maternal mortality are increasing in states that have subsequently banned abortion care. Harris has proposed and would sign a law protecting the right to an abortion, the right to fertility care, such as in vitro fertilization, and the right to contraception. And make no mistake about it, all of these things are currently under threat in Republican-controlled states. For example, the state of Alabama briefly outlawed in vitro fertilization when the state Supreme Court reinstituted their abortion ban. These protections are critical for women to be full and equal citizens, to be able to participate in the workforce, participate in the economy, and make no mistake about it, the point of abortion bans is to return us to a country where women fulfill the traditional gender roles. It's all part of the right-wing project. So Harris's agenda is to protect those rights to prevent that from happening. In terms of childcare and making your life more affordable, Harris is proposing to restore the $3,600 per year per child expanded child tax credit, plus instituting a new $6,000 child tax credit for the first year of a newborn's life. The expanded child tax credit was instituted during the pandemic and cut child poverty by 46% in 2021, but this was a temporary pandemic measure. Harris is proposing making it permanent, and then additionally proposing $6,000 during a child's first year on top of that. This is transformational. Cutting the child poverty rate by half, this is universal basic income for kids. We're talking about taking an enormous bite out of the problem of child poverty, which in a country as rich as the United States is not something that should exist. How can anyone be against this proposal? Harris is also proposing to build 3 million new homes in her first term. This is critically important because the United States is currently experiencing a housing affordability crisis, and that crisis is especially acute for young renters and first-time buyers. The only solution to this crisis is to build enough homes to meet the demand in the places where there is demand. Yes, you always hear, oh, there's more vacant homes than there are people looking for homes. There's plenty of homes if you want to move to Wyoming or Idaho or North Dakota, but you know what the trick is? building enough homes so that homes are affordable in the place where people want to live, in the cities that are responsible for the jobs and the economic output. Those are the places where people want to live. Those are the places where people want to raise a family. Harris is proposing to build 3 million new homes where it matters, and that would go a long way towards addressing this crisis. Harris also has a number of proposals to expand Medicare and Obamacare. And yes, I'm using the word Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act, but you know what? Obama deserves credit for it. It's awesome. We're using the term Obamacare. So Harris is proposing that we expand Medicare to cover in-home care for seniors. Currently, depending on the situation, seniors can get care for like nursing home care, in residential care, but we can't get coverage for in-home care. That's crazy. And in a lot of ways, you want the seniors to be able to age in their homes. Maybe they want to live with family members. But of course, without additional help, family members, their kids, right, can't take care of their aging parents and also their young children, right? They're kind of sandwiched in between those demands. If you expand Medicare to be able to cover in-home care, that now makes it possible for these seniors to stay in their homes or with their family as they age, instead of having to move into something like a nursing home or some kind of more acute care situation. Harris is also proposing to expand and accelerate price negotiations through Medicare to cover more prescription drugs. And related to that, make the annual out-of-pocket caps on prescription drugs that currently exist in Medicare universal. Right? And we've seen that this works. When Medicare instituted a monthly cap for the price of insulin, the industry instituted that universally because of the power exerted by the Medicare market. We can do that for other things. That's what Harris is proposing. And she's also proposing to expand and enlarge the Obamacare subsidies that support people who are low income buying into the Obamacare health insurance exchanges so that more people can afford insurance, fewer people have to be covered by Medicaid. Do we need more reasons to vote for Kamala Harris? Let's do a bit of a lightning round here, okay? Let's raise the federal minimum wage and end the tipped minimum wage. Right now, the federal minimum wage is $7 and change, hasn't been raised since 2009, and there's a lower minimum wage for tipped jobs that creates a two-tiered labor market. That should go away, and that's what Harris is proposing. Ban assault weapons. We had a federal assault weapons ban back in the 90s, and we had way fewer mass shootings back then. Nobody lost their Second Amendment rights because you couldn't own an assault rifle, okay? Like, nobody needs a semi-automatic rifle with a 30-bullet clip or magazine, whatever term is appropriate for the particular weapon you're talking about. I don't want to hear it, okay? Nobody needs that if you're just going out hunting or want to, defend your home. Okay, so we should reinstitute the federal assault weapons ban. Harris has said that. Let's get it done. We need to pass and enforce a federal law against price gouging. Many states have such a law and they work. We should have that federally. That's what Harris is proposing. Pass and sign the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. This is kind of self-explanatory, but this is going to expand voting rights and protections for voting rights across the country, so you couldn't have shenanigans where states, wipe a bunch of people from their voting rolls despite them being eligible voters. It would also do things like end partisan gerrymandering. We should do those things. We should pass that law. We want to expand nuclear power because there's no path to a carbon-free energy future without nuclear power. Harris is proposing to expand nuclear power. That's a continuation and an acceleration of policies from the Biden administration. And we want to cut taxes on almost everybody. Under Harris's proposals, almost everybody gets a tax cut, unless you're really super rich or a really big corporation, because she's proposing to raise the corporate tax, raise the tax on capital gains greater than $1 million. So if you have little investments, less than $1 million, you're fine. But if you have more than $1 million, then there's going to be higher taxes on that. We're going to have a higher tax on stock buybacks. That's just common sense. And she proposes to institute a billionaire minimum tax. Basically, if you are super rich, there should not be any shenanigans that allows you to pay lower taxes than me, right? And that's what Harris is proposing. So what's the big picture? Harris will make your life easier by making childcare, medical care, and a home more affordable. She'll protect basic rights, like the right to bodily autonomy, and she'll make the economy fairer by ensuring the richest 1% and the largest corporations pay their fair share of taxes. No more shenanigans to not have to pay your taxes. And of course, she won't attempt to overthrow the Constitution, which I hope we can all agree is a good thing. Now, very important, we need Congress too. In order to do all this stuff, we need to pass laws. If you're in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin, your state will help determine who wins the White House. Those are the 7 swing states this year. But if you're in Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, you also have a competitive Senate race. And that's also the case for states that aren't expected to be competitive at the presidential level, such as Florida, Montana, Nebraska, Ohio, and Texas. If you're in any of those states I just mentioned, you're going to help determine who controls the Senate. And if Harris gets elected, but we don't have control of the Senate, then there's no possibility of passing this agenda because Republicans are just going to block everything that she wants to do. So not only do we have to win the White House, we also have to win the Senate, and that's where these states come into play. And we also have to take back the House of Representatives, and this is a nationwide project. I don't know where any of you live, but your district may decide who controls the House of Representatives. And this is true even in deep blue states like California and New York. There are like a bunch of districts in those 2 states alone where Joe Biden won the district, right? If you draw the lines around the district and look at the 2020 vote, Joe Biden won that district in 2020, but then after the 2022 midterms, you have a Republican representative elected in those districts. If we flip all of those districts in California and New York, we probably take back the House of Representatives too. So it's not just the presidential level that matters. Doesn't matter where you live. You need to vote for Democrats up and down the ballot so we can get this stuff done. In summary, basically the argument is, look at this stuff. Look at these policies. These are policies that will do real, tangible good for most people in the country. If you're super rich, your taxes are going to go up. Tough luck, cry me a river. For the rest of us, these policies are going to do material good. These policies will reduce child poverty, improve infant and maternal health, shift wealth from the richest to the rest of us. They're going to make your life more affordable. So when you look at this agenda honestly, you have to admit, Kamala Harris is good, actually, and you, yes, you, should vote for her. Thank you for watching. Please remember to hit like, subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber, leave a comment, share this video, and also, again, as of this airing, there's less than 2 weeks to the election, so find it in your heart to do something. Find it in your heart and your schedule to do something to help elect Kamala Harris president in these final 2 weeks. Thank you again for watching. As always, don't get fooled.